right, that was Maria Mena singing Growing Pains. Yeah. Before that was The Killers singing Human. So I think I really love this song, Growing Pains, even though it's about a relationship ending, but I think it's a really good metaphor for everything in life. The fact that we have these growing pains as we go through different things in our lives, and we have to recognize that it's just temporary as we're growing. So growing pains are usually used for when kids are little and their bones are growing and it really hurts, and like sometimes you have to massage their like feet or arms or stuff because they're really just really tender and really in pain because the bones are growing, and it makes I'm like talking in circles, but like bones are growing in them basically, so they get taller and bigger, and it's making it and when that happens, it's sometimes it's painful, and it makes little kids sensitive. So I think that, but then they get taller and they're an adult and they're fine. So I think that's a good metaphor for everything in life, where, okay, I'm going through this thing and I'm sensitive and I'm tender and I'm in pain right now, but I'm doing this so that I can get, in quotation marks, taller, so you can get through the things and get stronger and learn your lesson and be a better person afterwards. And I think that's really important. Yeah. I especially identify with that. I think that everyone, or based on my view, I recognize that people have different narratives in their own lives and different ways that they live their life. But I think that just oh my god, where was I going with this? I'm so spacing out right now. I think that everyone just has this different times in their lives where they have to you really have to focus on what you want to get out of it, and focusing on where you want to be instead of where you could be, like I always go back to the Steven Universe episode that I watched a while ago, because they have really good lessons in it, where there's a character who can see the future, and she's freaking out because she can see all possible futures, but she focuses only on the practical ones, like, oh, this is going to happen most likely. But then the main character does something that she didn't expect, and she's freaking out that she can't tell the future, and anything is possible, and she doesn't know what will happen. And the main character tells her to calm down and focus only on what she wants to happen and create the future that she wants to happen. And so I take that to heart. I love that. Since I watched that, I'm like, I think of that all the time. So instead of being like, oh my god, what could happen? This could happen, that could happen. I do that all the time. Like, oh, I could follow this career path, or I could follow this. Like, just focus on what you want. What do you want to get out of this? What direction do you want to be in the next couple months, in the next years? And kind of subconsciously, I was doing that before, where I was like, okay, I want to, because I went through a very, very dark mental health time, where I wasn't doing a lot, and I was in bed most of the time, and I wasn't getting out of bed. I wasn't doing anything with my life other than breathing, which is important, very important. But I really wanted more from it, and I knew I needed to find a way to get through it, and everyone has a different way. For me, it was definitely going into therapy and doing a lot of therapeutic work. So I sought that out, and I found it, and I've been doing it, and I'm actually like working on the new stage for my therapy path. Sorry, my nose is very itchy. So where I am now is a lot different place than I was even 2 years ago. Like 2 years ago, I was not getting out of bed. I was staying in bed almost all the weeks. Almost all week. I was barely, like, maybe 16 to 30 hours a week I was getting out of bed and doing things, and I didn't feel like I had any direction in my life, and I felt like I felt talentless and meaningless and aimless. And right now I'm in like a transitional transitional stage of my life again, and there's a lot of things I can compare to that time, because before I had stopped going to college and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I kind of like took an internship, but I wasn't like, they didn't need me that often. I only came in like 8 hours a week, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was trying to figure out where I was going with my life. So I feel like I'm there again, but I can compare all the lessons that I've learned in the last 2 to 4 years. It might have been even longer than that. Gosh, time flies. But in the last few years, I've learned so much, so many things, and I've been working slowly, and it definitely felt like, oh my god, am I ever going to learn these things? Am I ever going to get there? But I kept at it, and I kept moving forward inch by inch, and yeah, like, during certain stages I was like, okay, well, I got out of bed for 32 hours this week, so that's progress, I guess. And then feeling very like irritated at the slow progress, but it's at the point where like I started up my own writing group. I get out and I hang out with my friends again. I am here doing a radio show that I've been doing since 2015, so that's amazing. And just getting out and doing things and making sure that I'm staying on task and figuring out my own future and making plans. And I wasn't really doing that before. I was just like, oh, I wonder what I'll do tomorrow kind of thing. But now, because of all the lessons I've learned, I say I can go out there and be like, I have a plan. I have an idea of what I want to do. Even though it's a transitional period and I'm still trying to figure out exactly which stones I'm going to step on, I can see the stones. I put some stones down. Like, I put a lot of rocks down, and I'm like, okay, which ones do I want to step on now? Which is the path I want to create? And so I built up and how did I do that? I know people will be like, okay, well, how? I just built up my skills. I learned... I was very curious about the world, and honestly, this is my approach to so much in life. I'm just like, you all have to be curious, you have to care, and I think curiosity is a form of caring. For me, it is, because if you don't wonder about something, do you really care about it? That's how I view it anyway. I'm sure there are totally different views, but when I care about something, I want to know about it. I want to go out, I want to figure out more about it. So caring about yourself in that way of being curious and saying like, okay, well, what do I like? And if you don't know what you like, try things. Like, I cannot say that enough. I know I've said it before, and it feels so like an ableist thing, like, oh, just go out and do it. But literally just find something that is a tiny step out of your comfort zone and take that step. You can't evolve as a human being if you stay in your comfort zone for the rest of your life. And that sounds like, again, ableism, and so cliche, but it's true. If you stay in the same place, you're going to be the same person forever. And if you don't like who you are, then you don't want to, or if you don't like how you are now and who you are now, and you want to be better and be more of who you feel you are inside, you have to go somewhere that's going to help you evolve in that way, and you have to find that growth. And if you stay in your comfort zone, you're not going to find that. So no, you don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to Nepal today. No, you don't have to do that. You just say like, okay, I found out about this group that's going on. I'm going to go to it. It's like a town over, or even within town. I'm going to go to it, and I'm going to sit on the edges, and I'm just going to watch them, and I'm probably going to be really uncomfortable the entire time and want to leave, but at least I'm there and I'm learning about it. Something like that. You don't have to go to a group. You don't have to do something like, some people have trouble being on their own. I've run into this so many times, and I'm like, no, you should love yourself. You should be able to be by yourself. I think it's a part of independence, and a part of free will is being able to be on your own and still have fun. And I love doing it. Like, there are times when I'm like, no, I really just want to spend this time with myself, and I go to fun events by myself because I like the dynamic of me just by myself, me being me, and not tailoring like what I say to other people, or having to, like, sometimes I don't want to listen to other people's opinions of what I'm experiencing. I just want to do my own stuff. But I've met so many people who are like, I can't be by myself. I have to be in a room with someone else at all times. I don't want to think about who I am. I don't want to think about myself. It's kind of like getting on a train and not caring where it's going as long as you're going there. Like, you're going to get somewhere, you're going to be someone, but you don't really know who you're going to be in the future if you just keep doing that, if you don't focus on who you are. You don't have to, like, make it your main focus, because for some people, that's really challenging. But just thinking about it at all is important. You can't just be like, oh, for the rest of my life, I'm not going to think about this. I don't care what my favorite color is. Like, that's something people don't think about. I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say like, oh, anymore. I think it's just a thing that you do as a kid where you're like, oh, what's your favorite color? But adults don't do it. And like, people don't ask each other, oh, what's your favorite color, unless they want to get them a present that might be that color. Like, just having that intrinsic knowledge of basic things, like, oh, my favorite weather is, like, for me, I really love hot days where I can just sit out in the sun, but it's not like 104, but it's above 80, and I can be pushed into going swimming. I like it when it's like, I really, really like it if it's like just after it's rained and it's like 60, 70 degrees, so it's warm, but it's wet out, and it's like kind of windy a little bit, and the clouds are gray. Like, I've been thinking about these things, like what moments do I enjoy? And I think that's really important, so that when you do find these depressive episodes, or you get down, or you can't figure out what you want to do with your life, you at least have something to lean back on and say, okay, I like this, and I know I like this, so let's go out and do this, or let's stay in and do this, whichever it is. So knowing yourself at least the very basic level, I think, is very, very necessary. I do it very, I know myself, like, I don't know myself that well, but I like really delving into myself and being like, okay, okay, well, I know, it's so hard for me, because there's so many different things to compare state of mind and state of well-being to, but, like, compared to most people, I know myself really, really well. Compared to how well I want to know myself, I don't know myself that well. So, like, I can tell based on how my stomach is feeling whether I'm having, like, a panic attack or a PTSD episode. Like, I can tell these things, and I know how to solve the problem because I've paid attention, and I say, like, okay, I'm feeling this and this and this right now, and just identifying the problems. Like, sometimes that's important to know yourself, is saying, identifying feelings and just being, this is from DBT, non-judgmental thought, is just saying, like, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Currently I am upset because I didn't get the hair product I wanted. Making things up here. I didn't get the hair product I wanted, and it's making me sad, and I'm really sad, but I'm also scared, and I'm like having a panic attack, and I'm having a panic attack because I remember that one time that someone didn't give me hairspray when I really needed it, and I had to go to that school dance, and my hair was crazy, and everyone made fun of me, and I had a horrible time. Like, just tracing your thoughts that way, and just saying, like, okay, this is what it reminds me of, and this is what I'm thinking, and this is what I'm feeling, and these are the words coming out of my thoughts, and following it back. And then, so you might be having a panic attack because you couldn't get the hairspray, but the truth is that it's actually you're remembering being bullied, and that's giving you the panic attack. It has nothing to do with not getting the hairspray. Like, I mean, it does have, indirectly it's caused by not getting hairspray, but the main thing that's causing problems is the fact that you don't like being bullied, which, who doesn't? But you're, like, tying it to your own self-worth, and every time you see the hairspray, you're like, oh my god, I remember that time I was being bullied. So being like, okay, well, hairspray reminds me of being bullied. Yay, I figured this out. So next time, when you go into the store and you know you have to get hairspray, you can say, okay, I might be triggered by this. I might have a panic attack because I know that this is happening. And it won't stop your panic attack, not for a long time. There are times, like, eventually there are times when you're like, okay, I understand this is happening. and you can calm yourself down. But at first, no, you're still going to have that panic attack. You're still going to experience all those things, but at least you know what's happening. And that's the important thing, is to know how your body and how your mind and how your emotions and everything is reacting, so that you can eventually, at some point, it's kind of like storing knowledge for later. You're like, okay, I don't really know how to use this now, but I know this. So I know this now. And some people have to write it down. Some people record their voice, make a video, just memorize it, whatever you have to do, and just learn about yourself. Be very curious, be very open, be very gentle, and just learn. Be learning. Because I think that's really the most important thing. When you care about yourself, you know how you're reacting and how everything's affecting you, and how you can get around things that are going to otherwise really bother you. And not even necessarily like, oh, I'm going to avoid hairspray at all costs now because I know that I get triggered by it. No, just being like, okay, this is happening, and this is why it's happening. Because otherwise, I've had times when something like that happened where, like, oh, something, like, someone texted me something and was like, okay, I'm gonna make up a scenario. This is totally made up, because I can't think of an actual experience. But, like, someone texted me something and was like, I can't hang out today. And then I had to buy hairspray, and it triggered me. And so then I was like, oh my god, I'm panicking because this person isn't hanging out with me. Why am I freaking out so much? But it's because those two events coincided, and I was freaking out over the hairspray. Like, I really wasn't, but, like, just for posterity's sake for this thing, freaking out over the hairspray, but I thought I was freaking out over the text and being like, oh my god, I can't handle people canceling plans on me. But it was actually the hairspray. So in the future, instead of being like, oh my god, I'm having a panic attack over this text, I could be like, no, oh my god, the hairspray is causing me a panic attack that's affecting how I view this text message I just got. And being able to separate and be like, okay, this is what's happening, and I recognize this feeling of the hairspray triggering me, so I know that it's not actually the text that's triggering me. And being able to do that in the future is so amazing and so empowering and so important, because you get a sense of your life and a control over your life, where you say, like, okay, this is causing this, and this is causing this, and I know how to deal with this separately, and I know how to deal with that separately. And so for example, like, say I did have panic attacks over someone canceling my plans. So I go in and I buy the hairspray, and I get a text to cancel plans. Well, I know I'm having flashbacks to being bullied because of the hairspray, and I know that I am having flashbacks of people canceling plans on me because of the text. And so I can say, okay, these are combining, and it's making me feel like my friend is bullying me because they didn't show up or because they had to cancel plans. The truth is, the hairspray is making me feel bullied. The text is just making me feel self-conscious, and those two are combining, and that's why I feel this way. I need to take a break before I respond to the text. I'm going to go treat myself to something, or I'm going to go lay in the sun and relax, whatever it is, go in a cool area and cool down, splash water on my face, just separating myself from the situation and recognizing that I'm thinking of past situations that are unrelated to my friend, and I'm not going to flip out on them because they canceled plans on me. I'm going to take a breath, take a break, figure it out, and then go back and respond to them. And I do that all the time. I do that so many times where I'm like, I am really angry at this other thing that's happening, and I'm going to flip out on my friend and be really mad at them if I respond to them right now. So I'm going to take a break and deal with this stuff. And, like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm just going to be angry for a few hours, and it's fine. It's fine to be angry. It's fine to have those emotions. What you don't want to do is take out those emotions on other people when it's not related to them. And you don't want to just, like, take things out on people anyway, because that's not nice. But be able to say, like, if it is related to them, be able to say, like, okay, I need to deal with this in a healthy manner and talk to them about this, and not just, like, be all emotioned up, have all these emotions, like, bursting when you go to talk to them. So it's really important that, you know yourself. Coming full circle, know yourself and know all these different things that cause you frustration and flashbacks and crying and laughing hysterically. Like, there's a song from Bare Naked Ladies, 1 Week, I think it is. I'm not sure, but it's by Bare Naked Ladies, and it says, I'm the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral. And I really like that line because it's just this contrasting emotion. You're not supposed to laugh at a funeral, but some people have these weird reactions where, like, they're supposed to be sad and their body just automatically makes them laugh because they don't want to be sad. And there's different ways that you can analyze those emotions and get to know yourself better so that you understand why you might be laughing at a funeral, why you have these opposite reactions to how you're actually feeling. And that happens all the time, where people are laughing hysterically while they're being bullied, and like people who are saying they're their friends. Like, I've seen this so many times where people pretend like they're like, oh yeah, we're friends because we hang out all the time, but they're only hanging out because they think they're friends. So it's like this loop, and the other people make fun of them all the time and then don't offer anything else to the friend, like, in quotes, friendship, and the person's just like, oh no, it's fine because I'm laughing, so obviously I think it's funny. But then inside, even as they're laughing, they feel self-conscious about it and they don't like what's being said. I've seen that so many times, and it's like, understanding yourself and why you're having that reaction of laughing when you don't feel like laughing, when you don't like what's going on but you're laughing anyway. Yeah, all of that is really important. It's really important to know yourself and to figure out what makes you tick, essentially, because then you have more control and more stability in your life, and you can change the axis from which you turn. You can really turn your life around and make it into what you want it to be if you understand why you do the things you do, what you like, what you don't like. It's really important. Alright, this next song is from Sarah Bareilles. This is Gonna Get Over You.